Hello, and Steve here. It's good to be present. And so I'm going to just see. Every time I'm going to set the attention to be more focused. And we'll just see if setting the attention actually gets us to that place or gets me to that place. So I'm now reading the cards in a Celtic cross. So you've got above, middle, down, and one side, middle, other side. And the cards are being now asked for with a particular consciousness. What are the words of the above world to us? And so the worlds of the above world to us are it's the two. Yesterday we got the one, which was the magician. Two is the high priestess. And so these are the words from above. And first there's a quote or a saying from a book, maybe. It was from The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran. So if you haven't read The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran, I would recommend it. I'd highly, high priestessly recommend that you read the book. It's really good. I think I'm not going to say anymore. But the words from the book are, "For self is a sea, boundless and measureless." We'll just see if you get really big hearing those words. For self is a sea, boundless and measureless. The one consciousness. Just keeps going and going and going. And we bring that boundless sea into the present. And the words from above, from the higher realm, the card that they picked for us today was the High Priestess. And the High Priestess card actually is representative of the balance between the male and the female. So even though it's the High Priestess, it's just the higher consciousness, like the concept in religion that a male god created everything, which makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Because I look around everywhere in the world and everything seems to be being created by women in terms of life. So I would just say, well, more than likely it was, the goddess that created all of this. And that would just be from my observation of the world, thinking that, the goddess is the creator. And maybe the god is like a seed planter or something. I don't know, but the harvest definitely comes through the female. That's just my take on it. If you have anything to say about it, if it's kind and thoughtful and compassionate and considerate, you can write it as a comment. And if it's like, believe in Jesus, or you'll go to hell, then just don't write it. I mean, I can ban you for eternity. I can do this or whatever, but I won't probably, because I just feel like, we're all in this together. And so why get into this polarization with each other just because one person does tarot readings and you think it's the work of the devil, and the church made Pan into the devil, and I've only experienced Pan as a lovely being that's been very helpful to me in my life. So it's all your experience. Okay, so the High Priestess, we got off a little bit there. We might get off again. We just don't know. The High Priestess represents the universal. This is the second time in a row. So the magician represents the universal. So we ask the universe, what message you have for us? Yesterday we got the magician. Boom. The universal principle of whatever. We ask again today, the universe, the higher realm. what message you have for us today. Oh, we have the universal principle of intuition, which I think was what we just talked about in the previous video, that the red earth, was it the red earth? I think it was maybe the red earth. What it talked about was intuition. It went on and on about intuition. So here we are with intuition again. So we're talking about intuition, independence, possibly interdependence, that'd be my add to it, self-trust, and self-resourcefulness. Okay. Yeah, that's all I'm going to read from that one. I think that's enough. Here, I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to see if I can get my fingers off of it. And I'm going to hold it as still as I can. And that way, if you want to stop it later and attempt to read it, you can, if you want to read all of it. Okay, so then the next card we got from the earth, from the soul of the earth, was the Seven of Wands. And the word is valor. And I just, boy, I can tell you how much I enjoy both writing these out and also giving them verbally. I just love it. And I watch them later and I get a lot from them. So the Seven of Wands represents the quality of valor. I love the word valor. Valor might be, you know, the teenage kids that you're hanging out with, they decide to have a rock fight with one of the opposing teenage kids in the neighborhood. They say, let's have a rock fight. And valor might be getting on your bicycle and riding directly home because you're named after Saint Stephen, who was a proto-martyr of Christianity, who spoke out his thoughts on things and was called a blasphemer and was stoned to death. So when you're around a bunch of kids and they're suggesting a rock fight and you go, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't know why. It just kind of makes me uncomfortable to think of rocks flying in the direction of people. Okay, side story, but there you go. Valor is the courage to stay by what you value, like your life. I value my life. I value my eyes. I value my nose. I value my head. I value my chest. I value my abdomen. I value my arms, my legs. There's a lot of glasses. I value my glasses. There's a lot of value here in being healthy and unstoned. And that's maybe a little Freudian slip in there. If you want to be stoned, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I used to have even less of a problem with it. Okay, the central niched wand on this card represents a reminder to trust your experience. So when I asked him in the dream world, if I let go of all the emotions, of all my beliefs, of all the stories of unresolved events, what will I have? And they say, well, you'll have your experience. It's all you can trust. Here it is telling me again. So when I listen to this later, I'll be telling myself again, a reminder to trust your experience. Safe and effective. I don't know. I don't have that experience yet. Let's find out. I think I'll hold off on this rock fight and see if I really, I may watch it from a tree because they can't throw the rocks up this far. Whatever. If you have the courage to stay by what you value, things will unfold like the lotus blossoms, renew and regenerate themselves, or allow you to move in new directions that you value. Honor your vision and creativity. Mars is the planet of energy and vitality that can support your creative expression. That's good enough for that one. I thought that was I love the Valor card. I love a good value as well. Valor and value, they're similar words. Okay, so what we got on what I refer to as the feminine side, but oftentimes when I refer to from the feminine side, which is now the right side, used to be the right side was the masculine, now the right side's the feminine. I can go into detail about it later. But anyway, sometimes we get the prince on the feminine side, sometimes we get the princess on the masculine side. But today, on the feminine side, we got the Princess of Cups. Oh, I'll show it to you. There you are. And the feminine side is also what we've been working with. So kind of if past, present, future, those words, is this really the past, but it's what we've been working with, what we've been conscious of. The Princess of Cups, which, well, I'll get to it first. And I think yesterday we got the Knight of Cups. But the Princess of Cups is the mastery of emotional objectivity. Now, how many times in your life have you thought that you were emotionally objective? I have no memory of this myself. When I'm emotional, it's very seldom I'm objective, but I'm getting there. So this is the suggestion. Keep working with emotional objectivity. Keep working and becoming less and less a person that takes things personally. Of the 4 agreements, that in the past was my struggle, was not taking it personally. But my intention is to get better at it continuously throughout all time, to master it sometime this lifetime or maybe the next one or the one after that. But at some point, I'll be doing a video in the future going like, I've actually mastered not taking it personally. Wait, what are you doing, Kat? What are you doing? Get off of that shelf. Quit playing with her jewelry. Oops. Lost it again. Okay, so the Princess of Cups, what we've been working with is the emotional mastery that has worked through jealousy, manipulation, seduction, and possessiveness. The Princess of Cups has a capacity to offer emotional longevity and loyalty to others in objective and non-possessive ways. She's emotionally secure and is able to communicate her feelings, desires, and concerns in realistic and meaningful ways. Yeah. Basically, this entire symbol represents the capacity to state feelings objectively and realistically and with a firm conviction not to abandon oneself emotionally. I think this is a good point. And then what we get for our present moment is the Star card, which looks like it's 17 of trumps. Now we have to go back the other way in the book. The 17 of trumps. And I like just the term, the Star card. It's right after the Tower card, which I like also, but it's kind of scary when you get it. It means that something's coming down. And it might be you. Okay, the Star card. The principle of self-sufficiency and talent recognized by others. So Walt Whitman said, we convince by our presence. I like it. So the Star is the universal principle of self-esteem and confidence. It is the state of radiance and confidence that is neither inflated or deflated. The quality of looking within and trusting what is there is symbolized by the figure looking toward the guiding star within the cup she holds. The word confidence comes from the root base to confide. Confidence is the ability to confide in and trust oneself. These are good words. Take them in if you've gotten this far. And if you haven't, come back to it. This deep confidence allows us to fully radiate and be expressive of who we are when we trust our inner guidance and direction. We see things more clearly and become more spontaneous, like flowing water with our feelings. In major religions, the star symbolizes the guiding light, like the Star of Bethlehem, and the Star of David. In astrology, the star is Aquarius. Did you know that? The water bearer. Symbol of the innovative and creative mind. Actualizing creative ideas on Earth. That's what we're working with right now. And what's this going to get us? What are we going to... We're always interested, oftentimes interested, sometimes interested. What are we going to get out of this? And what we're going to possibly get is the Princess of Wands. So we got to go. Got to go to the Princess of Wands. Swords. Oh, Princess of Wands. So we've got to go to that section that has princesses. Discs, wands. Okay. Princess of Wands. So this is the month of liberation, the spectral month, the spectral lunar month of liberation. What we're moving towards is the Princess of Wands, which is mastery of spontaneous expression and liberation. Being a sovereign being in a world of sovereign beings, all working together for the highest good of all. If you can't imagine it's possible, then you're wrong, because you can imagine it's possible. You can imagine anything is possible. I even have it, it's got to be true, because I even had it on my wall for a couple years before the cork board went the way of many things. But it said, anything is possible. If it was on my cork board for 2 years, you know it's true that anything is possible. So if you don't think it's possible, wash that thought from your cluttered little mind and open up some space that anything is possible. Just because you haven't experienced doesn't mean it's not possible. All right. Good job. All right. Princess of Wands is mastery of internal blocks. That's mastery. Just grab those blocks, pull them out, chuck them away. Internal blocks, obstacles, and obstructions. She has the tiger by the tail, and in Chinese, the calendar, I'm a tiger. I was born a year of the tiger. The Mayans, I'm a dragon. I don't know if there's any others. Oh, in the religious, I'm a stoned Stephen. I mean, it might be. It's getting those rocks out of the head. Okay. The tiger in some Oriental mythologies is associated with fear or blocks experienced within the nature. Princess of Wands is a symbol of the free and liberated spirit that is within each individual. She moves in new directions without fear, new directions that are energizing. Like her sun wand, she wears the Aries crown as a symbol of the pioneering and adventurous spirit that each of us possesses. Springtime is a season for renewal and new beginnings, which is represented by the ram's pedestal. The Princess of Wands has placed her old obstructions and fears on the altar and offers it as a spring sacrifice. Maybe write down all your old obstructions and fears, place them in a grail, which is, some people think that the grail isn't a chalice, that it's actually like a cauldron, you know, the old cauldron, stirring up the energy, and write down all those people, all those obstructions and blocks, and then light them on fire in the cauldron. I think it's a great idea. I might do it. The Princess of Wands has placed her old obstructions and fears on the altar and offers it as a spring sacrifice. She can be totally exposed and defenseless because she has nothing to fear. Okay. Time for liberation. That's your tarot reading. I hope you find it useful. I found it useful so far. I'm going to find it more useful because I tend to just watch these a few times and just being free of fear in a world where the energetics are be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. Just go like, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you. Say no to fear. Because I see that saying the whole program of say no to drugs just hasn't seemed to be on a roll. I mean, everywhere I look, there's more corner cannabis stores. And even though, you know, you might not think of cannabis as a drug, and it might not be a drug, you might think of it as an herb, but an herb might also be a drug. Or you may think of drugs only as those ones manufactured by pharmaceutical companies, the major drug dealers of the world. I like to look at them that way. And do I trust them? Oh, I'm supposed to be trusting. I'm supposed to, you know, there was the suggestion that we trust, but we trust the universe. And that does not mean, see, we find a way out of these things, like you're supposed to trust everything. But drug companies, trust your experience. So, trust the universe. But when it comes right down to it, trust your experience. Just hear the words safe. Oh, what were they? Safe and defective. I think it was safe and defective. And question, because it's all about trusting your own experience, question whether or not that seems true to you. This is where you get to check in on your intuition. Safe and defective? I don't get that feeling myself, so I'm just going to say no to drug dealers. I'm a sovereign being. I have that right. All right, that's it for now. Hopefully I'll just cruise right through the, check out what he says, see if he uses any words that we don't like, any concepts that we don't like, so we can take him away from the people and keep him from being Stephen, the one who gets the rocks thrown. But we're powerful, sovereign beings. We're not afraid, especially when we're sitting in our safe little castle, communicating to people all over the world from our little space that we feel so safe and secure that we've been in for 4 years now. Well, I've been in it for longer, but I've been actually in it for consistently for 4 years here in the woods. All right, time to maybe get out in the woods. Go see out if it's still freezing outside and how many layers I'll need to wear to be able to be outside for a little bit. Love you very much. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like more people to be able to watch this, but I just really don't like the idea of commercials. Oh, well. It's one way or the other. Now must go.